Legal documents. Ugh, right? Just hearing the phrase can make your eyes glaze over. They're dense, they're confusing, and honestly, they're packed with language that feels like it was designed to be misunderstood. But what if you could look at any contract and feel totally confident? Well, in this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to demystify all that fine print and give you the tools you really need. Let's jump in. Have you ever stared at a contract, seen words like heretofore, which just means before now, or indemnify, which is just a fancy promise to cover costs, and you just signed it, hoping for the best? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. The thing is, these documents run huge parts of our lives, from where we live to how we work. So understanding them isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely essential for protecting yourself.
So let's start with the absolute basics. Why do we even need all this paperwork in the first place? I mean, a handshake feels good, it feels personal, but the truth is, our memories are, well, they're not perfect. What you remember from a conversation and what the other person remembers can be two completely different things.
Okay, so a verbal agreement, it relies completely on memory, and that's a huge problem. Two people can literally walk away from the exact same conversation with totally different ideas of what was decided. A written contract? It solves all of that. It creates one single unchanging record of what you both agreed to. It forces everyone to get really specific, and that creates one clear source of truth.
Our source material just nails it with this quote. A written agreement eliminates disputes over who promised what. It's that simple. When it's right there in black and white, there's just no room to argue later about what was said or what was meant. At the end of the day, clarity prevents conflict. Period.
All right, so we're all on board that clarity is king, but what does a clear document actually look like? The good news is you do not need a law degree to write one or even understand one. It really just comes down to a few super simple principles.
These 5 principles right here, they can turn a confusing mess into something crystal clear. First, be concise. Just use simple words. Write in short sentences, please. Use the active voice. It's so much more direct. So instead of saying, the taxes will be paid by the seller, just say, the seller will pay the taxes. See how much stronger that is? And finally, be definite and group your related ideas together. I'm telling you, following these simple rules makes a world of difference.
Okay, let's connect all this theory to your actual life. You run into these documents all the time during big life events, right? Whether you're renting an apartment, buying a car, or planning for the future. So let's break down a few of the most common and most important types you'll see.
First up, let's talk about the power of attorney, or POA. This is an incredibly powerful document. Basically, it's where you, they call you the principal, give a person you trust your agent, the legal authority to make decisions for you. Think of it like officially lending someone your legal voice for times when you can't use your own. It's a huge deal.
Now, there are a couple of different flavors of POAs. A general power of attorney gives your agent really broad authority. They can step in for you in all sorts of situations, like managing your finances or your business across lots of different transactions. The key word to remember here is general. It covers a whole wide range of stuff.
On the flip side, you've got the special power of attorney. And this one is, well, special. It's super specific. It limits your agent's power to one single particular task, like, say, selling one specific piece of property for you. And as soon as that job is done, poof, their power is gone. So it's all about a very focused, very limited permission. So many of us have signed a rental agreement, right? But did you sign a lease or a license? The difference is actually critical. Think of it this way. A lease gives you the keys to the house. You have a real legal interest in that property for a set amount of time. A license? That's more like a ticket to a movie. It just gives you permission to be there. This distinction massively changes your rights, especially when it comes to how easily you can be asked to leave.
And when we talk about the biggest property transaction of all, buying or selling a home, the sale deed is the absolute king. This is the legal document that officially transfers ownership from the seller to the buyer. It's the final piece of paper that makes the property legally 100% yours. It is the ultimate proof of ownership.
Now look, even with the clearest, best-written contracts in the world, disagreements can still pop up. But that doesn't mean you have to immediately lawyer up and head to court. In fact, there's a whole system designed to solve problems outside of the courtroom. It's called Alternative Dispute Resolution, or ADR.
I like to think of it as a ladder. You start on the bottom rung with mediation. That's where a neutral third party just helps you and the other person talk it out so you can find your own solution. Take a step up, and you've got conciliation. Here, the third party can actually suggest a settlement.
And at the very top of the ladder is arbitration. This is basically like a private court. An arbitrator hears both sides and then makes a final binding decision. It's a system designed to be way more flexible and a lot faster than the traditional court system.
So, we've covered the why, the what, and the how of legal documents. What's the big picture here? What should you take away from all this? Well, think of everything we just talked about as your new legal empowerment toolkit.
Let's boil it all down to the absolute must-knows. First, always put it in writing. Clarity is your best friend and your best defense against fights down the road. Second, keep it simple. Seriously, clear, direct language is way more powerful and leaves a lot less room for confusion. And third, know your documents. Understanding what a power of attorney is, or the difference between a lease and a license, that knowledge empowers you during some of the biggest moments in your life.
So, to wrap this all up, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Think about it. Whether it's your job contract, your apartment lease, or even those crazy long terms and conditions you always just click agree on, what's the one agreement in your life that you'll look at a little differently now?